All right, welcome week 18 demo day. Let's go. It's going to be a short one. We are missing Rick and Jeff and Matt and Joel and Kevin and Bobby. Most of those guys are at AI Engineer World Fair. Bobby's out on pat leave, so we won't see him for a couple weeks. Sounds like it's been an awesome week for those guys. So let's just get kicking it off. And we're going to start with Nick.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, let me just share my screen. So this week I finished up the hiring manager agent that I was working on. So the basic idea is that instead of having an applicant talk to a real hiring manager, the applicant would create an applicant agent, and that will talk to the hiring manager agent. So they have a back and forth conversation, and then the hiring manager logs the whole interview and evaluates it. So from last week, it was just kind of a back and forth conversation. Now I've added some new features. So there's admin functionality, so you can register and unregister applicants. And then right now it's set up so they can talk they'll ping each other's webhooks. So I'll just take a look at the code here for the hiring agent. So as you can see, it's going to check. It handles the admin or applicant request types. And then what it'll do is it'll validate the message. It'll save the history so it can view the whole conversation. And then it will generate a new question for the applicant. And then once it does that, it'll send the question over. The applicant, this is just an example applicant because the hiring manager is designed to handle a lot of applicants. This one just, I told it to make the most impressive lie up in response to the question, but it doesn't have any memory. So it kind of produces funny results on the log. So I'll just demo quick the admin functionality. So you can register, and then it gets saved in the key value storage. So then you can validate the applicant whenever they submit a request, and you can also unregister if you need to, or someone's abusing the webhook or something. You could unregister, and then they'll get kicked out. So an example conversation here, you can see that at the end it rates it on, I just picked 6 categories, but you could tune it to whatever your company was looking for. But I'd have a technical accuracy, memory, human likeness, like is it representing a real person? And then it records the whole conversation. So that's pretty much it. I spent a lot of the week getting it up and running, like online deployment and stuff. So yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm going to pass it over to Dylan.
Sure. Thanks, Nick. So yeah, let me share my screen. Perfect. So yeah, so this week I had 2 main tasks. The first being I built and deployed a Crew AI social agent using the Agent2D framework. So basically automates the process of turning recent articles into kind of polished and LinkedIn posts. And so you could give it a topic like why small teams can out-execute big companies. And then it will basically find and summarize basically relevant articles using different research tools, and then write clear professional LinkedIn posts based on those insights, and also adapt it to the user's background, and then edit the content to match whatever tone or quality you kind of want. And so here you can see my setup basically is I have the agent.py function file, which is basically just the entry point for the agent on the Agent2D framework, handles the incoming requests, and parses the topic, and then builds kind of the Crew AI workflow. And then in social agent.py, this file kind of defines the whole build crew function and like workflow. So basically sets up the full Crew AI agent architecture. So you can see here the defines agent roles. So you have researcher, social writer, senior editor, their goals and tools, and then it creates the task chain. So we have research links, write social posts, and edit content. And basically, this is responsible for just kind of managing all that runtime configuration. And here I can show you a quick demo. So here you can kind of see just a sample prompt. So I chose what startups can learn from OpenAI's approach to product launches. And then I kind of just chose a fake example company to show I could work. So basically you can put our company, VentureSpark, is an early stage platform helping AI startups accelerate user growth through product-led strategies. So that kind of just shows how you can have a background and then the agent could take that in and kind of form your responses based on that. And so here we have kind of the different posts that they created on different articles. So you have the actual summarization of the post, then you have a link to that specific article. And then if you scroll down, you can have the listed out reference links, all the titles of the articles, and then the brief summaries of those articles, and then any additional notes you might need. And so, yeah, that's kind of the first thing I worked on this week. And then secondly, I started doing a brand monitor, Crew AI multi-agent brand monitor system. So basically, this project tracks public sentiment and online trends for specific topics or brands across different social media platforms like X or LinkedIn or YouTube. And other web sources. So you can say, for example, give the X agent brand or product like the Nintendo Switch 2. And the agent can return a kind of an instant breakdown of how people are reacting online to that. So it can gather the X posts on that topic and then analyze the tone and the sentiment and kind of the overall engagement on that specific topic. And then summarize kind of everything into a clean, structured format. And yeah, like I said, the system kind of can include multiple different agents, so Instagram, LinkedIn, web, X, or YouTube. But this week I kind of focused more on the X agent, trying to get that up and working first. And kind of how I set it up was, so I have the agent.py, which is again like the main entry point for the agent. So initializes the runtime environment, loads the different YAML configurations, and then actually launches the Crew AI workflow. And then in xcrew.py, this file kind of defines the structure of the crew. So sets up the roles of the agents and the goals and their tools that they're using, and then also just kind of how they're handing off the different tasks between agents. And so that's kind of like what handles the core logic of how they work together. And then we have a tool called Bright Data. So basically it's the tool for Google searches with scraping, and then that uses Bright Data's API, which basically, again, allows the agent to gather that kind of real-time web content. And then we go back to this in the configuration file inside the X agent, we have agents.yaml, which is basically the configuration file for specifying each kind of agent's runtime, the name or the role, and the instructions for it, and then also how it should be behaving. So you have the analysis agent and then the writer agent. And then we can go into tasks.yaml, which again is kind of the same, but for tasks. So lays out the full task sequence that the agents will follow. And then, include kind of a description of the tasks that they're doing, and then the expected inputs and outputs. And then basically the usage of whatever tools they're using. So kind of still working on getting the output of what it needs to be and kind of how it's structured, but that's kind of what I focused on this week.
Awesome.
And I'll pass it off to Gabe.
All right, let's see if my screen share is gonna work, because it usually doesn't. Okay, it's working great. My demo today is a little bit of sneak peek of something that we're gonna be adding to our platform real soon. Something very interesting. We're gonna be adding Discord integration, and this Discord integration is a little bit special. It's not like you need to host your own bot. We're gonna have a bot that is the Agentuity bot that you can just invite to your server, and then you can configure here to receive input You can configure which server it's gonna go on, and then you can like tell it, hey, receive messages only from these servers, and then eventually you just tag the bot, you send the message is going to go to your agent. You're going to have control on the SDK. You're going to receive some parameters as well from Discord, stuff that usually comes in the Discord message. We're going to pipe it through the agent, so you receive it on your agent. So if you want to use the Discord SDK somehow inside your agent to do some weird stuff, you feel free to. But then you're going to be able to, do communication with your agent straight up through Discord without needing to host a bot yourself. And also you're gonna be able to set it as a destination as well, so you can configure your bot to be able to respond to whatever message someone types to it on DMs, or reply to the message in the server, or other options that we're gonna add in the future as well. It's still very early on this. There's a lot to add still. There's quite a bit of nice options as well that is going to come. Eventually, we may have a little more control of the Discord API itself. But like I said, the agent is hosted by us. You just invite it to your server. You connect your agent, and you tell, hey, agent, this server is the server that you're going to use, and that's it. As long as it can use that server, it will just respond through your agent. So all the messages are going to go through your agent, and you can pipe through whatever agent workflow you want. So that's the goal. That's what I've been working on this week. Hopefully more to show in the next demo day. So back to you, Robin.
Awesome. That's cool. I don't have a specific demo today. It's agent day. So I've been really wanting this like Robin GPT agent, as I'm also expecting a child, and I'm going to be out for a time. So what I want is, whenever I'm answering a question, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing that's not really intuitive. I want to like talk to it and just like really quickly be like, hey, Bobby asked about this thing. That's in this repo. People don't usually need to get that because of this reason, right? And then I want to stick that in vector storage, and then just make like a really helpful chatbot that knows all the stuff that I always have to answer questions about. And so I played around with the streaming audio transcription APIs today, and I gotta say they left a lot to be desired. Like I was using pretty much everything that uses Whisper requires you to upload the entire audio all at once. You can't stream it in and out, which I thought was a little disappointing. Assembly AI has something like that, which was cool, but I figured that out towards the end. And then, yeah, this week I've been spending working on our infrastructure. Again, that's not as fun to demo, but I hope that the app was up this whole time while they were demoing it at World's Fair, and I hope that everyone really loves what we're working on here. I think that wraps us up. So with that, see you guys next week.